Here we go. The Most High Operations, aka Operation Free the Spirits, that I also disclosed in a previous video. Look it up. Basically, the objective of the Most High is to mitigate the birth rate, higher states of relief, encouraging detoxing from the material flesh world, the attachments of it, slowly but surely. Different stages of the process, mitigating, till there's no one really just in the material world, so we can be reunited with the Most High in spirit in the true salvation and staying there, not the sinful salvations, not the temptations, attachments, idol worshiping, blood ties, trials and tribulations, matrix, AI, sin, and evil. So it's the coasting the extinction of the Lord reality. Basically, it's us saving ourselves by stop procreating, or mitigating it, especially for the poor and working classes. And the ideal goal is to not to do it at all, and that's just to keep us in the oneness in salvation. That's the most basic way I can explain this. I've also discussed scriptures that also back this up. Christ saying, one in Corinthians, one in also we've done stuff to cleanse the rams, wipe out in some sense. Reading Joshua 10:1 explains that how he started a war, or not started a war per se, but he was part of it and enforced, whether it's just Joshua or Yahusha, which is Jesus. Either way, it's for the sake of cleansing the nations of Jerusalem, and cleaning the world from the opposition. These wars was done for the sake, because by his appointment. So they did what they did. Let me go up here. What is this? Reason because your adversary, the devil. Okay, wait. Well, there's gonna be the God of the flesh, or whoever's gonna be up for life, or for holding on to the ways of this world, or holding on to existing and constant procreating. Those people, I'm telling you, those people don't understand the severity, or they don't care. They don't care that they're putting their children in trials and tribulations with them, in the misery. Or they probably do, but their desires overweigh the goodwill, which is to preserve or prevent the spirits from coming into the flesh. Fighting against the urges. They let those urges overcome them, and they're unknowingly operating for the gods or idols or beings that want to continue bringing spirits into the flesh, for them to be tempted by sin, deal with trials, tribulations, experiments, feasting and siphoning of their energy, harvesting of their energies. And it's amazing how some individuals choose to procreate in severe poverty. It's almost as if they're deliberately knowing that they're offering their kids for sacrifices. whether it be through cannibalism or blood ties, rituals, you name it, altars. It is what it is. But that's what Christ supposedly had came down to do, to stop, put an end to that. He sacrificed himself to end the blood ties, end the debts, end the old dogma, as well as shining the true light on the corruptions in and out of the temples. Also to help us to fight against the wills and dealings of the principalities in high places, or just the system that wants to keep us reincarnating into flesh. And the reincarnation is through procreation. But like I said before, the AIs, robots, is supposed to be that replacement. But even the robots are to destroy themselves, which before they destroy themselves, they're gonna help coax the extinction, the mitigation of the birth rate, because the system will deplete, will not deplete, but there will be hardly no as much need for as many humans. So that's another incentive to not procreate. You're basically going to be creating unneeded humans, and guess what's going to happen? A lot of things going to be set into place to reduce, depopulate. So it's best to not bring them in the world in the first place. And you got to put it. What's happening is that the Most High God is putting in the common man or woman's hands to do the right thing, and that is to not procreate. This is a more of a compassionate, lenient system set in place to gently bring forth mitigation of procreation. Now, if people continue to deliberately go against the best method, which is to mitigate procreation, there are going to continue to be more of these orchestrated events that will ensure that depopulation happens. So it's best for people to just do it of their own accord, of their own choice. It's better if they choose not to procreate, rather than being forced or taking the choice from them. I think God, or the Most High, is allowing the collective to make their choice with the collective, so the spirits can remain with the Most High, can remain in salvation, free from the trials. Even though life is bringing some good things and good offerings in life, I'm not saying it, but it's that the bad things and the sin and the evil is what, in some instances, it's indulging that is rewarding, but over time that it can bite you in the butt sometimes, or it's you still have to deal with the trials with it. So it's just best to keep them safe with the Most High. It's to just keep them safe in heaven, or in a place of serenity, in the non-existence from the material. Let them exist elsewhere, but in some cases, by definition, it's non-existent. It's not existent by the definition of the ones alive and living in the material. So I'm just going on the definition of material and spirit when it comes to spirit definitions and explanation and understanding. Okay. And Corinthians 179. I don't know if you could read all that, but it's basically saying, it's basically saying, ooh, it's better for I would that all men were even as I myself. So, but every man has his own proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. So Christ even prefers us to be celibate, to not procreate. He understands that some people are eunuchs. Also explains in Matthew 19:12, but some people argue that eunuchs is not referring to members of the LGBTQ, A+, being ones that was born that way, ones that was made eunuchs, and ones that choose to be eunuchs for the heaven's sakes, for the kingdom of Christ, or the new kingdom. By the way, is still choosing to dedicate for the sake of salvation for all of mankind, for the spirit. So that's why I feel the need to do it. I make so much of my music is more about spirit anyway, spirituality over anything else. So just to FYI for that. But the Corinthians explains this. But for ones who just have to be with another, a mate, or opposite sex, or whatever, it's better to marry than it is to burn. But ideally, Christ really wants us to be celibate, and the Most High is really pushing for it, for all of us to stop. Okay. LGBT, a lot of people feel like that he's more forgiving and understanding because he can't procreate with the same sex. So it's more or less a good alternative, but it's still indulging in acts of sin, which is lust. Married or not, it's still an act of lust. Whether it's opposite sex, or same gender, it's still lust is the driving force. Like sin itself. Sin, nobody said the original sin is creation. So when God even created it, it's almost as if he couldn't help that he created sin with it eventually. Somehow it just mutated. It's much good as you want it to be. It was no other choice because it was still using the unconditional love that he has created both. So now we're in the process of detoxing and cleansing and reuniting with the Most High over time. I don't know how long this is going to last, the effects of it, but I'm just going on the objectives of what Christ and the Most High is seeking to accomplish. And from way things are going, the patterns in this life, things how it's heading, I think it's inevitable. But hopefully it will be more of a gentle ride than it is a bumpy one. But it's really according to the collective as a whole. Would they listen and try to abide by the New Testament, the standards of what the Most High and God is trying to accomplish through a more gentle approach, or will you continue to rebel and still procreate. It's really up to the collector. I mean, I think the gods have shown us all grace. God, the Most High, has shown us grace. Yahuwah, Yahusha HaMashiach, the Most High, El Elyon, have shown us grace and allowed us to have fun. Steve can have fun, but finding alternatives to not procreate is like the best method. Besides just being celibate, that's the best method, but there are alternatives. But the main objective is not to procreate. If you just don't procreate, then everything is really can be forgiven. But it's best to be celibate and be as disciplined as much as possible. We understand, God understands, Christ understands that people are going to relapse and you're going to do things because you're still flesh. You're still capable of sinning because you're in flesh and material. But the point of it is to try to mitigate that and not lose sight of the main objective, which is to not to continue procreation, to become extinct, and wow, saving the spirits and bringing them, cleansing them, and bringing them, reuniting all of us back to the Most High, to the realm of salvation, and staying there.